In my lifetime, I did not come to know the Lord until I was 43 years old. So I had an entire childhood and an adulthood apart from the Lord, knowing of God, but not knowing Christ, not having a relationship with Jesus. When I met my husband, we had both had 3 children. We got married about 14 years ago, and we just felt like, you know what, we really want to have a child together. We had 4 miscarriages. I had health problems. We have different things that prohibited us from having a child. I opened up Genesis and I started praying on Abraham and Sarah. That was what really opened up my heart. And I said, you know what? God bless them. And I prayed on that and I prayed on it. And then we got the news that we were expecting on the 5th attempt, and everything looked wonderful. When Anthony was born, we were overjoyed. It was such a sense of shock because after having all the miscarriages, I got to hear him cry. I got to see his face. I mean, God just gave us this beautiful little boy, and he was more than I ever could have pictured or imagined, and he hit every milestone. We had no idea there would be anything other than just total bliss with this baby. And we just thought everything that we went through up to that point was worth it. After he passed his first birthday, he was talking and everything was great. He was about 14 months old and he had a fever. They put him in the hospital and they ran some tests. They thought he had sepsis. So we were really, really scared at that point. He made it through all that. And then we watched him go from speaking about 12 words to losing his speech. He was not able to do a lot of the basic things that he was doing before. I mean, he wasn't playing with toys in a correct way. He was starting to do odd things. His mouth actually started to look like it was frozen. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know if he was going to be like this for years. He was diagnosed with autism, and shortly after that, ADHD and auditory processing disorder. The apraxia of speech, the brain-mouth connection isn't working right. He was nonverbal for 4 years, so in his daily life, he basically was not able to communicate any of his needs, so we had a lot of difficulty. We tried to teach him sign language, but that didn't work because he wasn't able to articulate words and he wasn't able to do the hand motions either. So I just felt like God was placing a burden on my heart to go back to school to equip myself to get a handle on the special education aspects for Anthony. The skills necessary to teach that, I had to obtain them. There's so many times I think like I'm failing, I'm not doing what I need to do, this is so hard, or sometimes teaching my son, it's difficult because he's having some difficulty with things that I need to spend more time on, and we need to stop everything else and focus on that. The auditory processing causes him to reverse his instructions. So a lot of times you spend repeating what you're trying to teach him along with physical guidance. Like if you show him how to write something out or you show him what you're trying to teach him, then that works out a lot better than verbal instruction. There are so many things that from my story, I hope I can help other people, because there's a lot of things that I went through that I think a lot of other people have also experienced. And we think something's too small to bother asking God about, but every little detail of your life you should be checking with Him on. So don't only pray in the dark times, but pray when things are going good. Pray to thank Him, pray to worship Him. There's a lesson that I learned from Dr. Charles Stanley. Your closest answer is only 18 inches from the solution, which is the distance from your knees to the floor. To drop to your knees in prayer is always the answer to any of the problems that you're going to come across in life. My prayer for Anthony is that he will use everything that God's giving him in his life to honor Him and to follow Jesus and to know the Lord